everybody? It's old Jimbo.
Possum.
Team Country Boys Outdoors coming to you. Know things has been slow with us a fishing in, and well, this is just a little something to break the monotony, just to get a video out and know that we still around and still thinking about it. And so we had a couple of questions throughout the past couple of months about what does spots mean, or what does rodeo mean. So today's topic is Paylake lingo, what we say down here at the Paylake, and terminology that we use in, and just one thing then another. And so that's what we're going to do today. But what we have been doing is we did actually fish a little yesterday, didn't do no camp, but just been cold, you know, and not my favorite time of year. I think I've made that more than clear many a times, but we are itching to get back a filming, and so this is just something to fill in the gaps as we go along. So without any further ado, we'll talk about some Paylake lingo. One feller said, "What do you do when you pull up at a new lake, and what are you looking for?" Sudden or bulling, which the proper way to say it, and I don't put no G's on nothing I say on account of where I'm
Fishing.
from. Sudden is sudding, and bulling is bulling. In other words, where them fish liable to be eaten up at, schooled up, eating off the bait off the bottom, and the bubbles is a coming up yonder on the water, and that's usually a good indication of maybe where some fish might be. Graveyard. Graveyard at a carp lake's any spot where you got to have top-notch patience to sit and fish in. It's also a place where it's either on fire or it's dead as a doornail, hence graveyard. More times than not, it's dead. It's also the place where if you've got a fish on from another part of the lake, say a 15 even or a 20 even, and you see a feller down there holding one in the graveyard, you get worried about it, because usually it's a good one coming out of there. Not always, but a lot. It's also usually a corner or a shallow area of the lake, or a skinny draw down yonder, but that's the graveyard. Now let's talk about some of the stuff that people's ask about. Oh, well, there's another one. A dip net. It ain't nothing but the net you put the fish in, but all these old timers down here always called them a dip net. I don't know why. I guess because you dip the fish. And you'll hear a lot of them still to the day say, "You want to dip him for me."
Oh, yeah.
But spots. Spots can mean a lot of different things. Let's say the man at the lake's paying $100 an hour, splitting it 50, 30, 20. So that means every hour he's going to pay $100, splitting it 50, 30, 20. So if you catch the biggest fish in that hour, then you win $50. If you catch the third large in that hour, you win $20. You could also have it, you know, different amounts, split up different ways. 300, I think, 90, 80, 70, 60. Split it 4 ways. It just depends on the lake, but that's what a spot is. A spot could also mean you might have a lake boss paying $50 spots, and that's all it says. Well, $50 spots, what does that mean? $50 spots times the number of fishermen. So if you got 40 people fishing, 40 fishermen, or fisherwomen, fishers, that equals 50 large fish, or 40 large fish, excuse me. 40 large fish, $50 each. Possum, run get me something to wipe this off with so I got some room. So let's go over that one more time. Spots. $100 split 50, 30, 20. That means he's paying $100 an hour, splitting it 3 ways, 50, 30, 20. If you catch the 3 biggest fish out there, well then you win $100. If you catch the biggest and the smallest, you win $70. $50 spots. 40 people fishing. He takes the number of people fishing, pays $50 for that many fish. 40 people, 40 biggest. 25 people, 25 biggest. 70 people, 70 biggest. All gets $50 spots. And then you'll get the more traditional way, if you want to call it that for lack of a better term. You'll get the more traditional. Don't matter how many people's are fishing in. Paying 50 every 30. Simple enough. Every 30 minutes, the biggest fish gets $50. Sometimes you'll see 25 every 30. Sometimes you'll see paying, I fished in this one time, years ago, paying $1,000 an hour. Splitting that 250 every 15 minutes. They'll usually fish at 10 hours, which makes it a $10,000 tournament. Different ways you do it. And then there's one even more simple than that. $2 a head every hour. It's during slow times like right now, or through the week sometimes you'll catch this at a lake. So if there's 21 people fishing, times $2 a head every hour, that equals $42 an hour for the large fish. Pretty self-explanatory. That's one of the more basic programs. And then you get programs like this. We're going to say paying 50, let's say we're going to pay $300 an hour. We're going to split that 90, 80, 70, 60 for the 4 biggest fish in that 1 hour block. And then you'll see this added to it. $5 rodeo every 2 hours. And a $10 rodeo every half. Fishing 9 to 5. So what does that mean? This part we already went over. 4 largest fish caught in that hour is $300. If you catch the first big, you get 90. If you get the last large, you get 60. If you catch the first large and the last large, you get $150. $5 rodeo every 2 hours. So let's say you start at 9 and at 11 a.m., $5 rodeo is nothing more than this. The biggest fish caught in that 2 hour period wins a $5 rodeo. $5 rodeo is based on the number of fishers. So if you got 50 fishing times $5, it's $250. So if you catch the biggest fish in that 2 hour slot, you win a minimum of $250. If one of those fish was the biggest, which obviously it would be because you won the biggest fish for 2 hours, that's another $90. So the minimum amount you could win in that 2 hour slot is $340. So rodeo is $5 a head and you get that money. 50 people fishing, $5 rodeo, that's $250 in the pot. Biggest fish in that 2 hour slot. Well, then he wins the rodeo for that 2 hours. And they would obviously be 4 of them because you fish in 8 hours. Now you got this $10 rodeo every half. Same principle. $10 times everybody of fishing. So at every half between 9 to 5 a.m., that means at 1 p.m. you get the $10 rodeo going off. Alright, so at 1 p.m. if you've caught the biggest fish in those 4 hours, you get $10 times the 50 fishermen, that's $500. If you caught one spot, which obviously you'd have to win the biggest, that's another $90. That would make $590 minimum at the halfway point if you hit that $10 rodeo. And you would probably have won a $5 rodeo, so you got to add another $250 to that. So that's $840 you've made right there off of one fish. Then again at 5 p.m. you're going to have another one go off, and you're going to have a rodeo at 11, 1, 3, and 5. And at 1 o'clock and 5 o'clock, you're going to get this $10 rodeo. So there's a chance to double up some big time money. Rodeos can be called different things. I've heard them called, what we just said, rodeos, the derbies, and then side pot. You hear it called that sometimes also. They all one and the same. Rodeo, derbies, side pot. My whiteboard fell. Jugs. You might go to a lake where they got 4 jugs and a floater. You get jugs and a floating jug.
That's what they pull out of the
So he might have 4 jugs at his lake and a floater. His jugs might be this: 21 even, 23 even, 25 even, 27 even. And then they'll draw a floater out of a bag or out of a hat or out of a coffee can on a chip, and the chip will have how much the floater is. So Possum Live will draw one out and he announces, all right, the floater is 24/7. Each one of these jugs has a predetermined amount of money. When you pay in, part of your money goes to each one of these jugs. And it builds. If nobody hits it, it just continues to build. You hit that jug, you get the money. You hit the floater, you get the money that's in the jug. Some people call them tags. I've heard them called on the books. How much do you get? Well, let's just say my whiteboard wants to fall on me. Let's just say the 21, the 23, the 25, and the 27. And then the floater was what, 24/6? Let's say the 21's got $500. And the 23's got $200. 24/7.
Yeah.
And the 25 even's got $2,000. 27 even's got $3,000. And I have seen it, fellers, have this much. Floater, let's say it's got 1,900 in it. Depends on the lake. Some lakes say 80% payout, 20% stays to build another pot. Some's 50%. Some's 70%. Just depends on the lake you go to. Most places is in line with a 50 or 70, and I've seen some 80s. So let's just say for 70, you hit the 27 even. 70 times $3,000, that's $2,100 you get. No questions asked. You can't be knocked off, beat. $2,100 yours, that $900 difference now is what's in that pot. If it gets hit again the same night, 70% of 900, that'd be $630. The 270 would stay to build another one. Some places do say only once jug hits once a day, and that's it. But that's very rare. Most of the time, it's a rolling jug. Now, if you get a floater hit, sometimes the floater will be done for the day. We're doing this all off the cuff here. So that's basically what it means. So let's say you get a program that's going to pay $50 every 30. Right there, you know it's going to cost you a minimum of $50. So you got a $50 charge right off the bat. Now let's say they got 4 jugs. That puts you on the jugs. So let's say they put $2 for every jug they got. That's another $8. And then the lake fee, usually in line with about $15. So right there you got a 73 to fish. If you want on the side pots are usually optional unless it's included. And I'll go over one more thing of that. But let's say for this program it's not included and he's going to pay, this is fishing 9 to 5, 50 every 30, puts you on the jugs. Lake fee's $15. Let's say he's going to pay a rodeo every 2 hours, a $5 rodeo. So a $5 rodeo every 2 hours, optional, that'd be an extra $20. So now we're up $20 more. So now we're up to 93. Alright. Let's say you want to use a 4th rod. That's an extra 5. So now we're up to 98. Because the 4th rod's always $5 extra. 4th rod, $5. And let's say you want to get on the weekly. Not every lake has it, some does. That's another optional $5.
Wouldn't the weekly be like 21 or 20 something?
So now you're up to 103. What is the weekly? You catch the biggest fish of the week. Usually that runs from Sunday to Saturday. How many ever people paid in on the weekly, because it's optional. Let's say 43 people paid in that week to fish on the weekly, and you catch the biggest fish. It's 43 times 5. That's $215. Plus what you won whatever day you fished and whatever program was running. So that would be the top cost is 103. That's how they kind of figure it up. Some places is different. This ain't the gospel. This is just a good idea of what they do. Now I did say something about if the rodeos weren't optional, if they're included. A lot of times people will do this. Like at Bowling's, they do this a lot through the week. Pays 25 every 30.
Mm-hmm.
Alright? And then he does a 5, 3, and 2 side pot at the end of the night. That's all the program is, plus the jugs. And he's got like 12 or 15. They're either $100 or $200, plus the jugs and the floater. The floater is usually got a good bit in it. This program right here costs you $45 to fish at. So that's $25 every 30. That's on you. Plus $10 more. That's on you. That's $35 plus a $10 late fee puts you at a $45 total. You want the weekly? $5. Pay it one time. You want the fourth additional rod? $5. You can go all in through the week at Bowling's for $55. That's usually in the summertime. Most of this is predicated on the summer. That's how it kind of works. And that would be like fishing 6 to 11. So every 30 minutes, the biggest fish gets $25. If you catch the big fish, one 30-minute slot, and you get the biggest side pot of the night, and there's 33 people fishing, 33 times 5 is 15. 165 plus you got that 25, that's 190. Now we left there several times this year with about that amount in our pockets because we hit one of these and got this one. One time we didn't get the $5 pot, we got knocked off where the 21.5 is what we had on, but we wound up winning these two. So we still got $5. And I think we actually wound up winning more than the fella what caught the biggest fish of the night on account of how we won a couple of more spots. So that's how it works. This is different things, different ways. Southern, bowling, get a run, get a pull, water donkey, pig, hog. You know, you just hear different people say different things, but that's the basic terminology of the jugs, the rodeos, the side pots, the derbies, the jugs, on the books, tags, whatever you want to call it. Basically, they all mean about one thing, just called different stuff. So before we head out of here, and my whiteboard falls on us, old Possum got something he wants to say, and then we'll close her out.
We want to thank the Team Country Boys Outdoors family. A very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's. I hope y'all have a great time with y'all's family over the holidays.
We sure do. We hope you enjoy your time with your family over Christmas and New Year's. And like Papa Possum said, wish you a Happy New Year and a Merry, Merry Christmas. We're fortunate and blessed to have you. This will probably be the last time you see us till after Christmas and probably the first of the year. But we thank each and every one of you. We sincerely do for what you mean to us, watching our videos yonder and just being a part of us. We thank you very much. We really do. And without any further ado, Ian, this is old Possum and old Jimbo wishing y'all a Merry Christmas. Remember, tight lines and wet nets, the best things come to those who bait. Until next time, guys.